Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Tattoo Homewreckers, a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. And we are finally recording our second part to our Tattoo 101 questions. If you hear that my voice is hoarse, we just came back from celebrating my birthday with our dear friends, Nicole and Rachel, up in
Portland
area-ish. And it was full of drag queens, and it was amazing, and it was super fun. I'm very tired, but also very excited to get into this episode.
Absolutely.
So now I am keeper of the questions. So I guess I'll just start us right off, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first question. Why don't artists send out drafts?
Oh my God. Okay. So there's a lot to this question. I don't send out drafts because I like to do them usually within about 48 hours, unless I have a particularly hectic week. I like to do them pretty close to the tattoo appointment. So that way everything is fresh in my brain, because I do not do full color mock-ups of anything. And if you have time to do full color mock-ups, awesome. Congratulations, you. I do not. I have a lot of projects to do. And so I, like, in my brain know how I'm going to color it, but I don't take the 10 hours to do a full colored rendition.
It takes forever.
And sending somebody the line drawing is much like being an architect and sending somebody the blueprints of their house. They don't understand what's going where, and they will question everything. And the other side of that is that no matter how good it is, they're going to show their friends, and everyone has an opinion.
Yes.
Remember that old saying of, like, opinions are just like assholes? Everyone's got one. So no matter how good of a job I do, your friend who is upset that you're getting a tattoo without them, or they're jealous that they're not currently getting tattooed, or they just hate tattoos, period, are going to say something about that line drawing and undermine, like, our relationship. So I like to just skip all that and show you day of, also because then I can verbally walk you through anything that, like, we're doing that you're like, I don't understand what this dots and dashes are happening here.
Yeah, I think tattoos they're one of those very specific, like, very special things that have solely to do with, like, just your opinion. And don't get me wrong, I get it. Like, I care about what my people think, absolutely. But when it comes to the tattoos that I get, no. I will get whatever I want tattooed on my body because it's my motherfucking body. And so, you know, like you said, a lot of the times, and your friends don't mean to, like, undermine your idea or blah, 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 but it can get convoluted. Those opinions stay in your head, and then you're like, oh, shit, I didn't think of that. Should I be concerned about it? No, if it's not something you were concerned about to begin with, don't worry about it. This is your tattoo. Keep it between you and your artist.
Yes. Think about, like, you're getting your tattoo just like your sex life. Keep it between you and the person you're doing it with. We don't need to tell everyone and get their opinions.
Yeah, for sure. And I personally don't send out drafts because, like you, I like to start my projects very close to the appointment time. It keeps things fresher in my brain. It keeps the energy flowing for me. I don't ever want to start a piece, like, right off the bat uninspired. So it's better for me when I'm, like, you know, designing that piece really, really close. So that way I'm, like, ready to go. I know exactly how it's going to throw down. Sometimes I do color mock-ups. But I never show the color mock-up until the day of your appointment. And these color mock-ups are very messy. Colors outside the lines, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, color mock-ups take a long time. So that's why I don't send out drafts. There's also the issue of some people like to take that design and then just never get it tattooed.
Yep. So it's or go and take it and get it done by someone else. Usually not even another shop. So, like, the concern isn't that you're going to steal the artwork and go to a reputable artist. The concern is that you're going to take our artwork and then go get it done by somebody working in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And that is not a real tattoo artist, and they're going to fuck it up anyway.
Yes, and let me be clear. A lot of the clients, like, you guys only see the tip of the iceberg of the work that we do. You get to show up for the appointment and experience the tattoo. That is hours and hours of unpaid labor that we do, drawing behind the scenes. And I'm sorry, I just don't have time to send you a draft. Like, no, it's not happening.
Well, I think it's also for me that, like, I'm not going to email people. I fucking hate checking my email anyway. And I'm really good at checking my email. But if you're asking me to do additional, like, emailing, no, that's too much.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're too busy already.
Yeah, so that's fine. How long does it take, how long does a sleeve take to do? Very popular question.
Okay, so it very much depends.
Yes.
If you are doing a full color saturation sleeve, it's takes obviously longer than if you have a lot of skin showing. You can think about this a lot like painting your house. If you're painting all the walls and the ceiling of your house, it's going to take a lot longer than if you're just painting like a little accent wall. That being said, it also varies depending on what you're tattooing. So if we are doing, I work exclusively in color.
Yep.
I very seldom do black and gray work. And color can take longer, but also, are we putting lots of detail? Is there like a shit ton of tiny details in the characters, or am I just doing like large areas of solid fill? Because large areas of solid fill I can knock through pretty quick. But I would say probably for me, because I do full day sessions, so from like 11 to like 5, 6-ish. Usually 4 full day sessions will get you a like full color saturation sleeve, but that's with me specifically, and that's assuming you sit really well for all of your full color like full day sessions and you heal it well, because if I have to go back in and like retouch a bunch of stuff that you let fall out, then like that's gonna add more time.
Yeah, I personally love this question, mostly because I wanted to tell everyone that there is no answer. There are way too many variables that go into a large scale project like that. First tier variable going into like depends on your artist. Genuinely, it depends on your artist. And like if you love their artwork and you're passionate about it enough to dedicate a whole limb to them, dude, they're gonna take that time and really like make sure that your sleeve comes out good. So just be patient. Like the time cap should not exist for you when it comes to getting a large scale project. And I get it. As in terms of budgeting, absolutely, it's important to know what you're getting into. However, just remind yourself that this tattoo is something that you will have for the rest of your life. It is a lifelong investment. This is something that will last you longer than your car. So,
also, can I just add? Yeah. I have sleeved someone out in one day because she was a very petite person. Oh yeah. So your size also depends on how long it takes. Yeah. So if you are a larger individual, if you got long ass arms like I do, it's going to take longer. If you are really small, you can probably get a huge, because like a sheet of 8x10 paper is an entire sleeve on you. Whereas I've tattooed people that like I've bust out the 11x17 and it's like, oh, this is not even a half sleeve.
A quarter of your sleeve. Yeah, for sure.
So there's also that variable in there as well.
Yeah, so there's too many variables. There really is no answer for this question. The only advice I have to give is just be patient with your artist. Remember, again, it's a lifelong investment. Yeah, no answer.
Yeah, just remember, you spend more on your car. Yep. Than you do on this, and your car won't be with you forever.
Exactly. All right, cool. Why are small tattoos discouraged?
Do you want to lead this one? Seeing as I've been leading the last 2.
Oh, absolutely. So everyone's definition of small is different. As far as like small tattoos with loads of detail, I'm kind of talking like micro tattoos and stuff like that, depending on what it is. If it's like a lot of line work, they're discouraged because throughout time, those lines will blur out and like end up touching each other. Right. So the lines that you got, like, we'll just say fresh tattoo, you just got it today. And these 2 lines are like, not even a millimeter like close to each other. They're barely touching. Those lines are going to touch in a few years just because of just the natural progression of how things heal. So a lot of times they're discouraged because it is not going to look the way it did when you first got it. And the biggest part, one of the biggest things about tattooing is longevity, making sure that it looks good 10 years down the line. Yeah. That's what you always want. And so that's why they're discouraged.
Bigger is always better when it comes to longevity. So an implied detail is always better than copious amounts of detail.
Yeah, exactly. So you just want to make sure that like, and it's not like your artist is shitting on your idea. I don't want people to think that like we're just completely shitting on it. It's just, we never want a client to come back like 3 years later and be like, hey, this tattoo doesn't look good. Well, I did tell you that it wasn't going to look good.
Well, and honestly, most of the cover-ups I do are not of, like, there's this big, giant misunderstanding when it comes to cover-ups that they're of tattoos that people regret. And it's not that. It's not that I don't spend a lot of cover-ups on, like, names. I spend a lot of cover-ups on tattoos that people got that they don't like how it aged.
Mhm.
And so taking, like you said, that into consideration of like, hey, when we run lots of like lines really close to each other
Yeah.
or lots of tiny details, when you do a face that is less than, I would say, the smallest you ever really want to do a face.
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, I've been tattooing for a hot minute and I've done lots of tiny faces. And if I could take them back, I would. But I would say probably no less than 3 inches for a face, because anything smaller than that, and even then, that's going to push it. In 20 years, it's going to be a blob.
Yeah.
But usually that's what I'm covering up, is tattoos that people got 10, even 5 years ago, but like 10, 20 years ago, that have just turned into blobs. And a lot of that is because, like, as an industry, we have been going through an artistic revolution. So that's why you got micro tattoos, because we finally had the tools to be able to do that. But then it's one of those like, okay, but should we have done that? Because they take great photographs. And I talk about this with you a lot, is like, there are artists that tattoo for photographs and there are artists that tattoo for longevity. And when you're tattooing for photographs, all you give a fuck about is how it looks right then. You're going to get that money from that client. You're going to post that shit on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook.
Blow up, right?
It's going to blow up. It's going to look amazing. And then in a year, in 5 years, heaven forbid, in 10 years, this person has a trash tattoo. So like, to me personally, how can you say that you're a good tattoo artist when your work later down the line doesn't look good?
Yeah.
Because all you give a fuck about is those likes.
Right.
Is the
moment,
clicks.
the here and the right now, when in all actuality, again, this is a lifelong investment. You want to make sure your client's getting their worth for their life, you know? Like,
and that being said, if your client's like, look, I don't give a fuck. Like, I've got lettering on my finger, currently getting it lasered for that same exact reason. It's all blurred together. And I have some smaller tattoos that have, thank God, managed to last. But at the same time, I went into it with the education of it. And I think that as a tattoo artist, it is our job to educate a client instead of just being like, well, it's what they wanted. Like, it's our job to say, hey, these are the risks that are part of this specific style of art.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had clients before where I tell them, like, hey, finger tattoos, hit or miss. It might be gone tomorrow, honestly. So I just need to let you know that, like, you are spending this money right now, but I'm warning you. And if you want to still get it, then sure. And then lo and behold, they're shocked that it didn't last. And I'm like, but I did tell you, you know, and now I've just stopped taking those pieces.
The side of my feet,
sorry,
gone.
Yeah, I can't. No, I'm not going to, I can't keep having the same conversations. All right. Next question. How many changes to a design can I make? Do you want to lead?
This makes me salty. Okay, so
get into it.
With our shop, we do consultations specifically for this reason. And I allot 30 minutes for a consult, which is a long time for you to tell me about your tattoo ideas. And I do not let you leave without a clear, concise idea of what exactly we are doing. Now, for me personally, I find that I'm quite good at consults. If you've had a consult with me, you understand that, like, I will try to dig every last little detail out. If you haven't had a consult with me, well, that's fine. That's just how I work. But I do not like to draw anything without knowing what this person wants.
Yeah, we want to be on the same page.
Yeah, if you guys have heard us before, you've heard me talk about the fact that I hate when people are like, just do whatever you want. Because it's the cruelest thing you can do to me, because that's where in the past, people then come in and they're like, no, I'm going to change this, this, and this. So for me, if you make more than like 2 changes, I'm out. I'm done.
I think that's fair.
I don't want to work with you on this specific piece, because it means that we are not speaking the same language. Now, if it means like we need to reconsult, and like, that's fine. But if it's something where like I take really detailed notes, and one of the things that will happen is that I will take detailed notes and the client will come in and be like, oh, I said this. And I'm like, boo, I got notes. I got receipts for you. So no, you didn't. And I will allot 2 of those. But if it's a big ass design change, no, you can reschedule.
Yeah, I was about to say it depends on like the magnitude of the change. I'm pretty good about like small changes here and there. However, most of the small changes that I do make with clients, I do need to still compromise with them because I'm like, listen, if we change this, it changes the entire flow. It will change the entire flow. It like distracts away from the eye. Like it's not going, your main subject is not going to be highlighted the way that you want to if we change all these things. However, I will like budge a little bit.
Well, and I think that's where they get upset is because like a lot of clients don't get that part of like, hey, look, when you change it, not only is it like you said before, we spend a lot of time doing artwork.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of time designing it for a specific reason that aesthetically it's going to look pleasing.
Yes.
And to them, they're like, well, just throw that in there. And you're like, you can't just throw it in there. That's like being like, hey, we're going to throw a pillar right in the middle of your living room.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just changed the way the entire thing is going to be set up.
Absolutely. And like, as an artist, like I'm coming into this stage of my career now where I'm really focusing on flow. And like, that's one of those things that I'm like, listen, like if we want to make changes, sure. But like, we got to keep the flow. And so if this disrupts the flow, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
There's nothing more awful for me, at least, when someone comes in with a major design change. And by major, I mean, we are not tattooing what we said we're tattooing anymore. You tell me that I'm tattooing a moth on you and you come in and you're like, I actually want a rhinoceros. I'm going to say, no, you're not getting tattooed today. Absolutely not. Because I get it. People aren't trying to be disrespectful. It is your body. You should be getting what you want tattooed. However, you do still need to acknowledge the fact that like, this is a group project. You cannot just change it on me like that and still expect to get tattooed the same day. I spent 4 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours on your design, and now we're completely trashing it.
And don't expect your artist to even take on your new concept.
Oh, for sure.
Just like if I draw something that you're like, absolutely not, I fucking hate it, I am not expecting you to get that tattooed.
Yeah.
But if you change it enough so then I say, oh, absolutely not, I fucking hate it, you don't want me to tattoo it.
No.
Like we harp on this idea a lot of like not understanding why people are trying to pressure us to do tattoos that we don't want to do. Like I genuinely cannot understand going to a tattoo artist and like harassing them or bullying them or getting mad at them for not wanting to do something. Y'all, that is it's art rape.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as being pissed off that someone doesn't want to sleep with you.
Yeah, I was just about to say consent is so important in sex and everything. In this industry specifically, your tattoo artist consent is so important. And so you do need to like, and I hate it when people also do this like, oh, well, you're going to do that tattoo for me. Girl, that's like saying like, oh, well, you're going to have sex with me on the night of the 24th. I'm like, who said? Excuse me, who said? Like,
I'm sorry. I don't remember.
You want to ask
saying
again?
Yes.
I know, right? You want to ask again and wait until I say yes or no to that? Like,
Well, that, and I think it's that, like you said, it's that consent. It's the, hey, we both agree to this. Because if you say, hey, you're going to tattoo me, how good do you, like, if you did that with sex, how good do you think the sex is going to be when I'm not in it?
Yeah.
When I'm just like, okay, I'm checked out. I'm just here for a paycheck. That's it.
Literally.
Like, it's not going to be real good, is it? No, you want me to be excited. And if I am not the artist to be excited for you, you want to find an artist. Just like if I'm like, nah, I don't want to sleep with you. Thank you anyway. But like, no thanks. Stop harassing me. It's not going to be good sex.
No.
Go find someone who wants to do it. Because then you'll have a good time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So design changes. There you have it. There you go. All right. Moving on. How do I know this artist is the correct one for me? Cute. I like this question.
Oh, that's falls right into what we were just saying. You want someone excited. If they're excited, absolutely. That being said, you also just want to make sure that like stylistically,
oh yes,
they will want to do what you want to do, and also that they can execute clean lines, smooth colors, nice gradients. Like whatever the style is that you're going for, you still want to look for those key elements, which is good, clean lines. Yeah, those basic techniques of like, hey, can you pull a straight line? Is it super fucking wobbly and shitty? When you have blends between colors, is it super choppy? Or does it look like a smooth gradient? And then when you have like black and gray, once again, nice and smooth. I don't want to see like choppiness. I don't want it to look like a 3-year-old did it. Beyond that, as long as they're excited, I think they're the right artist.
Yeah.
As long as they're consenting.
Yes, consent is important, first of all.
What were you going to say? I cut you off. I got excited.
No, you're fine. Okay, yeah, I got excited. No, I think it's important, obviously, and I think I've talked about this before. Go to a consultation, meet your artist, see if the vibes are good. Like, you're going to be nervous, and that's totally normal. A lot of people don't talk about this. I'm nervous before a consultation with a new person every single time. I have to hype myself up before I get out there.
It's awful.
Yes, because like as soon as the front desk is like, hey, your consult is here, I take a moment, I breathe, and then I just start walking towards the door, and I'm like, nope, don't think about it. You have to walk out this door right this second, because I'm very shy, believe it or not. So like, just meet with your artist, see if the vibes are right, make sure that you guys are on the same page, make sure that you're speaking the same language. Like, that is so important. Like you said, during the consultation, a lot of the reasons why people come in and make design changes is possibly because A, you didn't speak up, unfortunately, or B, we just aren't speaking the same language, and that's fine. It's like dating. So yeah, just feel it out.
Yeah. And I think that like part of that figuring out that person's correct for you is that like, hey, do they encourage you to speak up?
Yeah.
Because if you feel intimidated, like you cannot speak, then that's not your person. You want someone that you feel comfortable with. You want someone that like when you leave, you're excited to see them again.
Yes.
That you're excited for that. And like, I'm with you. I only do consults now 3 days a week because I genuinely hate consults so much. Because it's so nerve-wracking every time. Because you're like, okay, are you going to be rad? Are you going to have cool ideas? And like, we have the consultation forms beforehand, so we get like a generalized idea. But even then, you can take like something that sounds amazing, and then you go meet with the client, and they're going to like nitpick, and you know they're going to be so difficult the entire time that you're like, I don't give a shit that was such a great idea. Now I'm stuck with somebody who's just like,
when I do a consultation and I'm stuck with somebody who is doubting me right off the bat, it is really hard to get into that piece. I need you to trust me. You came here for a reason. Hopefully you've looked at my portfolio. That's the biggest thing. Look at people's portfolios before you go to the consultation, because nothing is worse than like someone coming in for the consultation being like, do you have examples of this artwork that I can see? That's awkward. I've said it before on the podcast. It's awkward. It's weird. Don't make your tattoo artist pull out their portfolio and have you look at that.
Oh, I straight won't do it now.
It's awful.
I just say, hey, you have my social media, you can look, and I'll go, and then you can call me back when you're ready for me.
Yes.
Because I hate sitting with someone when they're like, oh, I'm going to flick through your portfolio. Now, I do have people that'll be like, oh, you know, when I'm like asking about specific styles of watercolor, because there are lots of different styles. And this is purely on the tattoo industry, not on clients, that we don't know how to name shit. So like they'll pull up my portfolio and be like, I like this style of watercolor that you did here. And that's fine.
It's
but when
if
you're doing, if you're going through being like, here, prove to me. Then like,
because
no.
I've pulled up my work before, because I'll ask people like, okay, what kind of black and gray do you want? There's actually different kinds of black and gray. We can do something smooth. We can do hyperrealism. We can do stippling. We can do whip shading. And they're like, oh, what is that? And so I'll show them. It's different when I show you. But like, if you're asking me right off the bat, no, it's not fun. Yeah.
If you have to ask your artist to prove it, they're not the right artist for you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, next question. What can I do to be a good client?
I'll let you start this one. I'll let you start. I'm really excited for this.
What can you do to be a good client? Look at your artist's portfolios before your consultation, please. That'd be really great. That and, okay, this is my big thing. Know that this is a painful experience. Be prepared for it. Please find a way to dissociate out of your body when I'm tattooing you. I need you to be calm, cool, and collected. No matter how much it hurts, I don't need to hear about how much it hurts. Please don't, because this is very intimate procedure.
Don't make sex noises.
Don't make sex noises. Why do people do that?
Don't do it. The moment you moan, you're fucking weird. Everyone in the shop notices it, and none of us like it.
No.
So, like, whatever this thing is that people feel the need to, no.
Gross.
We all hate it.
Or
we don't,
the breathing.
No dudes think it's hot.
Yeah.
No chicks think it's hot. We are all there just, why? Also, keep your level down when you are in a communal environment, because it is not just your experience. It is a shared experience. Much like being on a plane.
Oh, yeah.
We're all in this together. So if you want to be super loud, you're that asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be that asshole.
Don't do that. Don't do
And
that.
also, just like on a plane, take a shower.
Oh, yeah,
Be clean before you come in. That makes you a really good client.
I also just don't like the breathing. Not the moaning. I don't get like a lot of moaners, but I do get a lot of.
I get so many moaners.
Like, ew.
Oh, you do get the breathers.
I get the breathers.
And I get the moaners. Or they're like, oh, that spot really hurts. And then you're like, I'm not in the same spot. And then you move like 2 inches over and they're like, okay, yeah, that's the same spot. It hurts. I'm like, bitch, I'm not in the same spot.
Yeah. God damn.
I don't need you to walk me through it. I just need you to understand that like whatever it is you need to do, bar breathing weird and moaning, just stay still. Be calm.
Be calm, be cool. Here's the thing. The more you sit well, the better you sit. And by sitting well, I mean you're still. Mm-hmm. I don't know you're in pain. That's a big one. If I have no idea you're in pain, unless you like, a lot of the times my clients like will take a break and they're like, wow, that really fucking sucked. And I'm like, wow, I could not even tell.
I love those
people. Talk to me about it when I'm not tattooing you and the gloves are off. Great.
Yeah. At the end when I'm like, damn, that wasn't bad, right? And they're like, oh no, it was terrible. I'm like, you were a badass.
Yeah,
I love you so much for that.
Bitch. Thank you so much for not letting me know. Because again, like it's just very distracting for me. I'm trying to fall into the piece. I'm trying to make sure you come out with the best product possible. And like, it's hard to do that when you're breathing in my ear or you're complaining every 5 seconds. Yep. I forgot where I was going with this. But...
Okay, so a couple other tips.
Yeah.
Eat before you come in. Not for good clients, for us, just like general good client rules. Have a good idea before you come in for your consultation. So like starting the consult, be able to clearly state what it is you want. You don't have to draw it. That's on us. If you want to do a little pencil sketch or like a little stick man, I don't know any artists that actually dislike that. Like we might like giggle at like your sketch, but also we love it so much. So if you come in with like a pretty solid idea, it doesn't have to be everything perfect. We don't need a micromanager, but just a good solid idea. And then for day of your appointment, shower before you come in. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're like, wherever you're getting it, we have easy access to the body. So if I'm getting a back piece done, I'm going to wear something that my artist can access and I'm not going to have bras and straps and everything. Mm-hmm. If I'm getting my foot tattooed, I'm going to make sure that I have clean socks and just loose slip-on shoes, not flip-flops. They're fucking shitty for a foot tattoo. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to make sure, like I said, that I've eaten. I'm going to bring entertainment for myself. Mm-hmm. In particular, headphones. Yes. Because once again, this is a communal environment. And even if it's just you and your artist does not want to listen to whatever the fuck you're playing on your phone. Anything that pulls us out of that creative process is hard.
Yeah.
And then check with your artist to ask them, do you like to talk? Do you want to be quiet? And understand that we are human beings. So that also varies. I have some clients that I love to talk to, but then on some days, I'm focused. I cannot talk to you. I need to focus. Mm-hmm. So bring your own form of entertainment, just like on a plane. Don't rely on everyone else around you.
Yep.
And then snacks. Bring snacks. So that way, if you take breaks, we at our shop have snacks for you. However, if you're at another shop that doesn't provide those, make sure you've got like sustenance.
Yeah, you
liquids.
Make sure you're set.
Yeah. And that way you then are completely taken care of the way you should be because you're an adult.
Yeah.
You're not a child getting a tattoo. You should know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Same thing as a plane. Gotta make sure you got your own snacks and your food ready.
And then tell your friends to fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want a ton of guests. So like what makes a great client is when it's you guys.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got like a badass friend who's awesome and hilarious and great and your client and your artist is down for that, fine. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, once again, it's like adding a third person in the bedroom. Unless you've both consented beforehand and said, yes, that sounds like a great idea. Nobody wants a surprise third person.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Love that. I think we've covered like most of the good client things. I can't really think of anything else. I'm sure there's a million other things though, but can't really think of anything else. Next question. Oh, great. We kind of answered this. How do I prepare for getting tattooed?
Eat. Shower, eat.
Wear good clothes. That'll
wear good clothes. Hydrate really well. One of the tips that I love to tell people, and I've said it on previous episodes, is whatever area you're getting tattooed, about a week beforehand, 2 to 3 times a day, start moisturizing that. Any regular lotion is totally fine. It's just going to help plump up that skin. So any bit of dry skin has extra moisture. So it just makes it easier for your artist to work with, AKA allows them to work faster. Mm-hmm. So if you're paying hourly, you're getting a cheaper tattoo. If you're paying per piece, you just are in pain for less time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we all want. None of us want to sit for like 12 hours on a tiny tattoo.
Yeah. On the mental side, pay attention to what will help you get through the pain, what you need to distract yourself from said pain. And whatever whatever cues you need, not social cues, but whatever like cues you need to keep telling yourself. For me, when I'm, in a tattoo that's really fucking painful, I just remind myself, the stiller I sit, the faster it'll go by, the better it'll look. So easy, quick, just pay attention to what you need.
I like to tell myself that I usually have like an arbitrary amount of time. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? In 12 hours from now, I will be at home.
Love that.
Like asleep, snuggled up with my dog, totally happy. So then I know that like no matter how bad it is in that moment, it is temporary, and that by that night I will be at home with an ice pack on my tattoo, just totally chilling.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right, great. Last question. Okay, great. Ooh, I love this. What are our opinions on tattoo artists who cannot draw?
Okay.
Girl, figure it out.
Okay. Do you want to take this one? Do you want me to start?
I would love for you to start, actually. Yes.
So, there are a lot of tattoo artists out in the world. We talk about the different types of tattoo artists. I don't know if I've ever said it on here before, but they're the artists that love tattooing, that love like the actual art of tattooing, that love creating art, that love art as a whole. And then there's an entire section of tattoo artists that became tattoo artists because they thought it was cool. And most of your people that fall into the cannot draw portion is because they thought it was cool. Because otherwise, what the fuck was your draw to it?
Right.
Why did you become a tattoo artist? Because you wanted like inconsistent paychecks, you didn't want benefits, you didn't want to work for the man, but you're still working for customer service as a tattoo artist. And you just decided, hey, I want to be able to like come to work drunk. That's why I want to be a tattoo artist. So for those tattoo artists, I personally absolutely despise them because I have not met very many tattoo artists who love the art of tattooing that harm our industry. Whereas your artists who do not draw, who don't have the ability to draw, for what the fuck are you doing in a creative field anyway? Like, that's my question, is because drawing is a skill.
Yeah.
So even if you could start an apprenticeship not knowing how to draw, but it is a skill that you learn just like driving. So if you suck at driving, that's because you are not actively working at getting better at it.
Don't be a bus driver.
Don't be a fucking bus driver. Don't be a race car driver.
For real.
If you suck at driving and you don't want to take the time to work on that skill set and get better, don't do it.
Yeah.
So for any artist out there who's like, once again, you're not an artist if you can't fucking create.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like you have to be the world's best painter. Fuck, I hate painting. I literally just threw away a shit ton of paint today because I was like, I'm never going to fucking paint.
Yeah,
I hate painting. I love Copic markers.
Yeah, they're great.
And for me personally, love tattooing. That is my favorite medium. Like, I would much rather tattoo than anything else. I draw on paper or on my tablet just as a means to get to skin.
Yeah.
But if you cannot draw the fundamentals and you are we say this in quotations, a tattoo artist, then fuck off. Work on your skill. Get better.
Get better. Yeah, we got big feelings around this, and I sit heavily with you. It's hard for me to, I don't know, it's hard for me to like those people who cannot draw in this industry because, as you said, more often than not, they are the people who are harming this industry. They are the people who ruin experiences for people. They're a lot of the times it's the reason why people go back and they're like, I never want to get tattooed again. Like, it's so upsetting to me because I fucking love tattooing, obviously. We love to tattoo. I don't know. I'm so fucking passionate about it. I love it. And it's so upsetting to me when I hear clients that come in and they're like, yeah, my experience was ruined because my artist, in quotes, didn't listen to me. Like, this is not even close to what I had wanted, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, it's such an intimate experience with people. Don't ruin that for the rest of the industry. Don't ruin that trust that, like, has to be built in order to get tattooed in the first place. Like,
I have to add on to that.
Yeah.
I also want to say something about tattooing as a whole, because there's this idea that we sit down and physically draw every last piece we do,
Mhm.
which we do not.
Right.
It's why, like, you'll hear a lot of artists use the word, like, I designed this tattoo, which usually means we took a bunch of different stuff and we threw it all together and then we put our own spin on it.
In an artistic way. Like,
yeah. So, like, we'll take references of, like, realistic sunflowers and realistic, like, butterflies, and we'll merge those two together. And they weren't a singular photograph on Google, but we did use Google references. And so, especially when it comes to, like, realism, that's usually how realism is created, is that, like, if I'm doing something realistic, then I am either working straight from, like, Google Images and then photoshopping the shit out of it.
Yeah, because we're not taking our own photos of polar bears.
No.
Love y'all, but I'm not going to go out to the Arctic and snapshot photos of actual penguins.
Yeah.
My original penguins.
I think that that's also where some artists get annoyed when they are, say, like, a new school artist who then looks at realism and they're like, oh, well, they're not even drawing it. But in order to execute realism really well, you still have to have the ability to create that artwork.
Yeah.
So
and
that
tattoo
is
well.
still, you still have to, like, in real life, not just in tattooing, you still have to be able to, like, create those techniques to see the highlights, to see what makes it look
texture
really good. Yes.
And value and contrast. Like, there's still so much art that goes into that. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to be really clear on that, like,
Smart.
just
You're
because
smart,
an artist is not physically hand drawing everything does not mean they do not know how to draw.
Yes. I will say too, for those of you who for those of you who struggle with, like, drawing and are tattoo artists, I can't stress that, like, it'll help you so much in your career. Like, just take some time to actually put your head down and figure out the basics, because, like, lo and behold, sorry, that was our computer. Lo and behold, sometimes you wipe your stencil away. What the fuck are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Dude.
That's always, like,
you gotta be able to draw that shit on. Like, you have to be, or more often than not, like, sometimes this happens to me too. I will design a piece and it has great flow, put it on the body, it's shit. I erase half of it, draw the rest of the flowers on. So that way it matches the flow of the body, and then boom, I'm set. I'm good to go. That tattoo is going to be so much stronger than what it would have been if I had just followed my stencil. Yeah.
You need that foundation. So if you think about it like building a house, the actual artistic abilities is that foundation.
Yes.
So if you're like, man, I'm really weak at those things, that's okay. Like I said, it's a skill. You learn it.
Yeah.
You can learn it at any point. You're never too fucking old.
In time.
We still take classes on drawing, on design, on, like, everything, because we are always trying to get better.
Yes.
So, like, that's what we've been doing lately, is taking some online classes to help us be better artists overall.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I think, honestly, being able to draw is fucking essential to being a tattoo artist. I think that you need to be able to do that before you even touch a machine.
Yes.
If you've already been handling a machine, then you need to really put it down and focus on honing that skill.
Yep.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, great. I think that's all
awesome.
the questions we have.
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please send them in. And we will probably do another one of these episodes in the future.
Yeah, because they're fun. They're so fun.
Next week we will be talking about some pretty heavy subjects. I'm going through some more personal sherry now that we're going to talk about.
Love that. Guy's always going through it.
She says love that. Like, she doesn't know what we're going to talk about. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And we will see you back next week.
Yep. Much love. See y'all soon.
Bye.